Now, let's shift gears here over to Gulf of Mexico. Well, as you've all heard, probably you've heard, because I've heard, there's a big oil leak of oil pouring out of the ocean. So let's talk about it. Let's get to the heart of what's really going on. So I won't mince words. I'll give you the straight story. British Petroleum, they're called BP Oil, but BP stands for British Petroleum. Now, did you hear the first word of that? British. It's not AP. It's not American Petroleum. It's British Petroleum. We're going to get back to that. That's an important point. Now, British Petroleum had some kind of a, oil rig off the coast, somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico, close to maybe Louisiana or New Orleans. It's around there. Those states are all Gulf states. And there's a leak or something. It blew up. Some British people died, I think, 11 people. But now it's pouring out oil into the Gulf of Mexico. First of all, let's just talk about whose fault it is. I'll tell you whose fault it is. It's Barack Obama. That's kind of an inside joke. Obama. Like, oh, bummer. Like when he became the president, many of us looked at each other and said, oh, bummer. It's a play on words because his name is Obama, but we say it like oh, bummer. Think about it. Now, so that's who's to blame, and I'll tell you why. Because, let's get back to that first point that I raised. British Petroleum, well, British, isn't that the very country or nation that we fought a war against for our own freedom? Well, I believe it is. Let's not forget that Britain is not America, and because they have a monarchy, they have a king or a queen, they have a person who's elected, or who's in charge. It's a one person. We have a democracy. We have one person in charge. Their person is not elected, and they wave differently. They have this kind of a wave like that. It's something they learn. Now, if Barack Obama was the president that many people would like him to be, what would he say? Why is British Petroleum drilling for oil in American water? Now, tell me, that's a big corporation. They're drilling for oil in American waters, then they're going to take the oil over there and sell it to us. But it came from us. Now, why in the H is Barack Obama, the president, allowing a foreign country to come to our country and take our oil over there and then sell it back to us? I'm telling you, does anyone see even that much common sense in that? No. No, you can't say that you do. Because if he was the president that let's say Sarah Palin or John McCain would have been, had things gone a little differently, they would only allow Americans to drill for oil in America. And that oil would come straight out of the ocean, the ground in the ocean, straight into a big oil tank in America, and then we would just take it, fill up our cars, and go. It'd be cheap. Very cheap, because we don't. Now we're letting them take it. Then they're selling it at a profit, a big profit, back to us. Now, why did we fight the war in Iran or Iraq, whichever it was? We fought it to get oil, because they have a lot of oil, and we wanted to take it. And so does Saudi Arabia. I don't trust them a bit. They started the whole thing. They're some very tricky guys. And other countries like Alaska has plenty of oil. Now, I say the problem and the buck stops right there with Barack Obama. Because if he was the president that he should be, that would not be happening. Americans would be drilling for our own oil. We'd be using it for our own oil needs and making things out of it, like plastic and stuff. So, I give 2 thumbs down to the oil spill leak in the Gulf of Mexico. I think we should change the name. I don't know why we call it the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of the Southern United States is what we should call it. Coastal Gulf of America. The American Gulf. It's the Gulf of America is what it is because it's our Gulf. They don't have nothing to do with Mexico. And I say, you, Mr. President, can you see that? President, like, you know, that means, you need to tell them, hey, you need to get some sort of a nuclear device and blow that thing up so it stops leaking, first of all, because we're getting oil on the beach in Miami, and that's no good. Second of all, they have to pay to fix it. They pay, and then they go home, and then we take that oil, and it's our oil. Okay, so that's all the time we have today for today's edition of Hot Topics in the News. And thank you again, if I hadn't said it already, for tuning in. Got a little bit of dust in my throat. And we're coming today, special edition, live here. And thank you once again. And I hope to see you tomorrow or next week, whenever the next show is, for the next Hot Topics in American News. God bless America, the best country in this land. God bless the American people. God bless, the president, if it had been another person, perhaps McCain or Palin, or if George Bush could have run again, which would have been the best thing, I think, for all of us. And God bless you, the American viewers out there who make this country the country that it is. So, and let's thank our sponsors, Shell Oil and Exxon Oil, and other sponsors too. Maybe the only commercial at the moment. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks so much.